How's it going? Welcome back to another episode of AJ Larkin Garage. Today we are chucking in some air cups into the Supra. Jaydon will be filming a whole bunch of this episode because I'm not going to be here. I'll be busy doing other stuff. Hopefully he does a good job. Anyway, we're going to do an unboxing to show you what we've got here. So, this came from Stance Parts. Woofed. Okay, so first up we've got our airline, which you're going to need to run air cups, and we've got our 4 air cups for each corner of the car. So the way that these work, I'll pull these out. You've got your airline on this air fitting in the side. Your airline goes in here, and then, hey bud, then your suspension goes into this blue cup here. And what happens is when it's mounted in the car, air pressure goes into here and it pushes this down, so it raises your car. It's sort of like an airbag, but different. It's a bit cheaper. This kit cost about 2K, where airbags cost about 8 or so. Okay, also we've got the air compressor here, little baby air compressor, and an air tank. So all air systems need an air tank. It's got your fittings, your release here to get the water out, and wiring harnesses, solenoids, and all that good stuff. So I'm sure Jaydon will fill us all in when he does some filming on stuff. So yeah, we'll hopefully get some good footage from that. If not, I'll be back the next day to do some other filming.
Doggo. What we're doing today, installing air cups. They go in between the top hat and the spring there. And when they're aired down, she obviously ride it the right hat she's at now, which is stupidly low, cracking bars and shit. So when she airs them up, it'll give her 2 inches of leeway to get up driveways and shit. Yeah.
Had a good time getting these in and out last time, wasn't it? That was a good time. Good time now. One springy boy. So yeah, with assembly, I didn't before. I got a bit scared, pulled all the wrong thing. Make sure you take off the clip that sits on this shaft and slide air cup all the way over so that it's sitting on the actual shaft, not the non-shiny seal bit. That takes a lot of help. So I jumped the gun a bit, but put your spring back in, make sure it's upright, OCD. Rubber boot, don't forget that. That protects all your, that's your dust boot, keeps dirt off of the shaft and flogging out the seal in the top of the coil. Slide your air cup in on, what do you want to call it? So it sits all the way down on the shaft. This is where the locking clip will go now. And don't lose it because it'll fly off in a million miles an hour. And then assemble in reverse. Washer, top hat, washer, nut. And then you have your assembled air cup on the coil. Very nice. Very nice. So after looking at it, once we put it on, we actually realised that it works better without the little clip. So don't put that back in. No clip, washer, top hat, another washer, and your normal nut. Then that sits up like that. Nice. And this is just your typical loading your preload. I'm not sure yet whether you need to apply preload with an Aircup because there might not be enough droop if you do. Droop is what you call when you put the car's weight on it, that's how far it compresses down and sits. So obviously the higher the spring rate, which these are only 14 kilo, just standard BC springs, you won't have much droop even if you do tension them 1/2 inch. For a 7-inch spring, you need 1/2 inch preload on the spring. So yeah, we'll do that and see what happens. You know. Can you put one of the nuts on the top here? Yes. Just loosely, not tight. Yeah. Well, there's a wiring grommet we can go through here. Come on there too. But we'll try and keep it as short as possible. Ready? When you're choosing your airline routing, obviously, you know, relies on air. This is an air cylinder, technically. Has O-rings in there. That's how they work. So you need to run air to it. There's an air fitting here, just a quick push fitting. That's all it is. You also need to find, obviously, a way out of your guard. You can go, depends how you want to do it. You can go down, underneath, and through the engine bay. Or cleanest way, I think, right now we're going to take is go through with the brake line, pull out that grommet, and go through next to it. Or there's plenty of options. You can come straight over here. There's a hole right there, straight in the engine bay. There's 2 more buttons there if you want to go straight into the cabin and miss the engine bay. It's up to you how you want to do it. But when you're running big wheels, you also want to watch your routing because obviously you can see Kim's big Johnny's rubs here sometimes when she turns. So if you run your airline straight across there, it will nick your airline. And same as there, but you wouldn't want to go forwards when you're trying to go backwards into the back where the end tank is. So there's in the front we got lucky with a bung on each side that we could run straight into the cab for the airline. Obviously because all the tank and stuff is mounted inside, not on the outside. On the rear we didn't get so lucky. There was no holes to go through and we had to reroute, you know, through the breather hole in the boot where the spare wheel goes or make our own hole. So to make it keep it neater, we're going to make our own hole just here to go through, and it'll come out through there from the air cup and then into the back here where the tank will just be mounted right here. So keep it short, keep it simple, nice and neat. Yeah.
Back, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed Jaydon doing all the filming and all that. It's fantastic. I just spent hours editing it all up, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. We're back on the GoPro, so we're back to 30 frames a second instead of that beautiful 60 frame goodness. So yeah, good. So he's hooked up all the hosing and that like you've seen before. Just testing the compressor and the tank and all that. This isn't where it's going to get mounted. We're getting a board made up and it's going to sit up here. And then we'll sort that all out. But exciting stuff, eh? Very nice. And all the wiring is getting tidied up too, of course. So we'll show you what all this does once we've got it all hooked up and ready to go and everything's lined up. We'll activate our little solenoids here and we'll be able to air up the car. Go from there. Okay, so the diagrams that they give you from the stance parts place,
Crap.
Yeah, they're not the best. So we've just done all this wiring here. If you have a bit of wiring know-how, it's fairly straightforward, sort of. You know what to do, but they don't describe certain things. Like for instance, it's telling you there's only 2 pins on the solenoid here, but the solenoid actually has 3 wires. It has a constant power, a trigger wire, and then a ground. They don't actually mention it in the wiring, which is also a pain in the ass. So just little things like that. They could have maybe explained it a bit better. How was the hosing diagram? Was that fairly straightforward too?
That was straightforward, but it's just how hard is that?
Yeah, so the wiring was the difficult one. It's just the description, and that was sort of missing certain details that are needed when you're wiring up stuff, of course. So we just need to finish up our solenoids and then we'll air it up and give it a gaze. Just a couple of blokes having an ice cream. Cream on, bloke. Cream on. Nani. Nothing like a nani paddle pop. Delicious. Okay, we've got our working now. Go air up the back. Look at that. And then drop it down. So that's that. Very, very cool. Okay, so to get the more travel, we need to adjust our spring so we can get more travel in our Aircup. I'll let you get in there, Jaydon. Sneak up in there. Oh yeah.
Watching me be a noob trying to slip on this fucking thing. Coilover keys aren't the easiest thing to use.
Fantastic.
Droop is the amount that it goes down, how much of the spring takes the car's weight. So the more preload you have on it, the less droop it's going to have.
Means the less.
In this application, we need at least 2 inches of droop to make these effective.
So that we can go up and down and up the whatever it is that these cups do.
It explains it in the stupid instructions if you want to go over that. The rest of it hasn't been helpful, so I'll that.
Oh, that'd be helpful. I'll bring the instructions up so it's better to explain. Where are they kept? Are they in the boot? Oh dear, I've lost our instructions.
Really?
These tyres are not legal, bro. They're
They've done like 5Ks. Burnouts.
Really? But at least the outside's still brand new. Oh, look at the rubber.
Just flip them and go there.
Look at that. That's what you get for too many skids. That
Too much fitment.
too much fitment. The outside's a brand new tyre, but the inside's on belts. For that camber life. Hey, buddy. Look at these big Johnnies.
So always start your wheel nuts by hand. So
I actually covered that bit.
Oh, really?
Once. Yeah, don't just send it with the ugga dugger.
you have a bad time.
You have a very bad time.
Cross-thread that mother. Did you cover going in a star pad?
Alright, I'll come back once we've set the droop on all the springs so we can get a full... oh, look at that. That's low. That's not good, eh? That should not be that much. That's only because we've got the other side jacked up doing that. But we'll come back once we've got everything set up properly so we can do a proper video on the drop and all that. So we'll do that. Happy days. Okay, so everything's been adjusted properly now. There you go. Look at that. So I don't know if you can see much of a difference, but it's there. And if you air up again when you get a chance, and now you can see that guard. So that's a good 2 inches, 2-3 inches, about that.
The rear's an inch and a half.
Yeah, the rear's an inch and a half. The front goes up 2. So now when we have our guards on, yeah, the front's the problem. So when we have our side layers and the other crap, which I'll show on the other side. So now it's at a legal height now. Thumb-wise, it's at a legal height, so you can also get over speed bumps and that. These are designed so that when you're cruising around, you have them on the ground. When you want to get over an obstacle, you air them up. So I think that'd be a good opportunity to geezer them when they go up and down. See? And you air up.
You only get about 2 up and downs back to back before you got to build up pressure again. But it's still, you're only going to go through a driveway
Yeah.
when you're leaving in your destination.
The little tank in it's obviously not big enough to...
2 gallon tank.
Yeah, it's a 2 gallon tank, so it's not big enough to pump up 4 air cups continuously. If this was an airbag system, you'd have a big donkey ass tank in it, but I like to see it's a little one. Jaydon's going to make up a nice cover for this. Like I said, I'm not going to film that because they're going to do it another date, but I can. So yeah, That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching our stupid heads. Click the like button, punch the sub button, write a comment about...
Don't go low static.
Yeah, don't go low static. Write a comment about stance cars, because we all love stance cars here at AJ Larkin Garage. And we'll see you next time.